don't wanna look back. Gotta grab this link here. Morning, good morning. Seems the stream is working just fine. I'm gonna just chart something up quick. Alrighty. Alright, we're just watching these levels here. I'm just setting up some levels. Apologize. We are looking at, this is what we're looking at here. Let's see. I am looking here at the NQ longer term chart here at 30 minutes over the last few days. Monday, open up, initial balance pop, opening range pop, base out. Tuesday, same deal, opening, pulls back, opening range, break, push to the high side, break the highs, consolidate, pull back a little. Kind of very similar, but a little bit more muted than big straight up, flat, pull back, straight up, flat, pull back. Are we going to pull back into this trend line here, or are we going to just go flat, straight out, and break through? With NVDA earnings today, with FOMC meeting minutes today, just really going to be cautious, I guess. We're going to be as aggressive as we can, right? Through these levels, we're holding above this 18,794 level, which is pretty key for the breakout of that previous high there. So we broke out of that previous high, came back. That's going to be acting as support. If it flushes again, we could get back down into this consolidation here between 757 and 739, which was yesterday's range, and see what happens with the earnings. So I'm going to just be watching the open, see if we can approach the overnight high, and then we will see if we can short that. If we do crack and hold above the overnight high, then the rotation up to all-time highs to kind of clean up. Well, the overnight high is going to be the all-time high, right? So that's going to be something that they want to clean up during market hours, I'm guessing. But we'll see what happens, if it happens now or if it's going to happen later on in the day prior to the NVIDIA earnings. Is NVIDIA going to pull back prior to earnings? Is it going to run up into highs and then completely blow off the top at earnings? I kind of feel like no matter what happens, NVIDIA is the golden goose of this market. So it's going to be something that they're looking to pump, but at the same time, they could look to just melt it off as well. So we will see what happens. Throw rips on for a minute. Going to be open in about a minute and change here. We're going to be my delta. I have it on another screen now so I can actually see it pulled up. A little bit of a pop there, right? But that's counter divergence to the delta, which was ticking down a bit. So delta, not divergence. $23 till we are a minute and 23 seconds out from this market open. Tight value area for the overnight session. Only about 80 ticks on the value area currently. So all of the volume has happened basically right where you see it. This is where all the volume has been the most of it has been executed right here down at the previous day low VWAP area. So very, very tight, wound up quite a bit. There were some aggressive buyers kind of pouring in from 7:30 on. Price didn't really rally that hard from 7:30, right? I mean, it pushed up a little bit, but not as drastic as what I see on the delta buyers. So I would be interested in that level there as well, that 85. We're going to be open here in just a minute. Alrighty, let's see. There we go. We are now open. Let's get it going. See if we can get up into those overnight highs. See if you get any sort of divergence up there. Looks like the delta not pushing up as hard as price is trying to. There goes delta's now trying to catch up. So let's let it dance around a bit here for this first minute. 794. 794 is right here. It's that previous all-time high. NVDA pushing up from 953. Oops, sorry about that. Big delta push to the high side here. Let's see if it'll crack through this overnight high. Overnight high creates new all-time highs, cleans up overnight highs on the session instead of on the overnight, right? The New York Stock Exchange hours, the American session, the New York session it hates to kind of leave that overnight high as the all-time high. I feel like that just doesn't sit well in its mouth, so it doesn't want to be like we didn't do it. So I feel like we'll at least probably tag that level, and then we'll see what happens from there. With NVIDIA just kind of lingering around, nothing going crazy with NVIDIA. Let's see with Microsoft. Microsoft pushing upside pretty strong. Yesterday's high on Microsoft's 433. We're right around 431.40. We broke above all the consolidation from pre-market. All right. Come on, get up over that overnight high. Get us set up here. The opening range trade there is 40 ticks. So it's limited risk to take the opening range. But I feel like we need to get the opening range to break to the high side. There it is, broke into the high side. If it fails it, so we are pushing up into that overnight high. Pretty strong delta, straight up. Didn't quite touch it yet. S&P is running right into that VWAP area, which is interesting. It's below VWAP. NIQ is above VWAP, so slightly diverged there. NVIDIA cracking through the high of the pre-market session, 959.52. 959 even was, or 959.03 was pre-market highs. So let's see what happens with that if it wicks it. 830. Should be the high end of that upper band of VWAP. Delta still straight up, no divergence there. I don't know if it's just going to break and rally for the rest of the day or not. We're just going to wait and see what happens. If the opening range low breaks, then we might look for this short, right? I have it set there. I'm also going to be trading this account here. I might be a little more aggressive on this one, so you might see some bigger size get thrown around at these highs. Good morning, Jofi. Good morning, sir. Good morning, everybody. Hell yeah, great job. I'm working on one now. This is a 250K here. I would sell 5 there and see what happens from it. Congrats on the 250K. You really sized up on that bad boy, just like I'm doing on this. I'm going to go short through 15. I'm up 4 grand on it right now. That's after 1 day, so we'll see if we can be up a similar amount today. Delta now turning a little bit. Awesome. Awesome. Great job. Great job. Oh, you got my espresso. What's up, bud?
Not gonna spill.
Not gonna spill it. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Maximus. My coffee delivery kid. That's what it is. See what happens with this. NVIDIA sold off pretty heavy there. I'll go short through this one as well. This one, from that overnight high, we created new overnight highs. I would expect a pullback.
Stop filled.
Okay, that's everything is short. Okay. Let's see if we can get this thing. Wow, that's a little whippy action there. I'm gonna give this above to the high. Actually, I can't because I don't. This I'm gonna draw down on this. One contract here. Limited by 1 at VWAP. That's the failure of the overnight high. That's our normal strategy. We're back into the opening range here. Delta kind of crept down, led us to the downside a bit. I think NVIDIA is just completely melting off, and usually when NVIDIA goes, the NQ will go as well. So we'll see if we can get some follow through on that. I'm going to try and trail this one out a little bit quicker so I can make a couple, maybe a couple $100 on this. See if I can get one off at that VWAP. I'm going to go to even just to see if I can protect myself on this. Get through that opening range low. I would love to get the VWAP here. The heaviness still feels right because of the NQ. I mean, because of NVIDIA. Trying to let this thing breathe a little bit would have been nice, but at the same time, I just want to see if I can get this thing to go quickly. It should go pretty quick, to be honest with you. I'll secure $100 on this Top Step account, and now I'm going to see what I can do with this Apex account here. There we go. get down to that 801 level. Usually that'll give us a little bit of a reaction at the 800. So looking to see that 800 level get flushed. There's our first one off. So now we're a free trade here just above that candle. Let's see how far down we can take this.
Order filled.
Will it get us? That filled us with 2 contracts there. So now we have 3 left on this. So I'm going to go here. Buy stop. Buy stop. Buy stop. I am not the best with this trade of it. I got to set it up a bit better. Figure out the brackets a little bit better. I'm so used to Top Step X. I wouldn't hate taking some off. I took 2 off, so we're up on this account. We're sitting around $1,000 on that. We took those 3 off there. I'm gonna hope that it doesn't get back above there. And apparently we just got stopped at even on that one. So Top Step X currently sitting up 319 on that nice little catch. So good on that first trade of the day there. Nice 319, secure that. Fading that overnight high right to VWAP. Classic hour strategy, working out like a charm. Opening range short. Very good. We're still in on this one, but just past break even. We're going to see how far down, if it does want to go. Like I said, NVIDIA is just absolutely melting off. There's no way that the NQ wants to hold up so strongly compared to the one thing that's been propping it up all year, right? It will probably pop us out. I'll look to re-enter at the overnight high on that account and see what happens if it does pull back some more. Especially with the Apex, you kind of have to be pretty. You have to trail tight your drawdown trails with you. Alrighty. Every time, if I'm going to secure $1,000 a trade on this, I'm not going to be mad about it, right? Or a little less, right? This is going to be probably $400 or $500. We realized 550 on that first profit taker down there at 800. See if we can flush through that. This blue line here is the previous day close. It auto-populates for me. So I'm looking to see if that blue line will crack. If we can get that through that line, I'd take probably one off here down at the lows at 90. Just because you have that confluence there. Bounce, bounce, bounce. I'll see if I can get one off down there. If I can get one off down there, I'll trail the rest of the position to that break of the low. But I will trail this up into here. Top end of that consolidation, top end of these candles here, because if this candle gets canceled out, I think then the bulls step back in, but it shouldn't come back up here. This is the power of multiple contracts, right? This is showing you our strategy, but what you can do with it when you start to trade some size and you're able to start to peel stuff off and let it breathe a little bit better, right? The strategy works. I've been calling out great moves pretty much daily, right? I haven't personally been able to capitalize, but today we're looking to do pretty good. All right, we got one off there. So now, apparently I did wrong. 1, 2. So we have now secured, realized $1,000 on that, and we have 2 left on for runners. Probably going to see if I could trail it candle to candle here, which is the high end of this candle. I wanted to give it a little bit more, but I think it could still pop. Should I leave it at the top? You know, it's hard to not secure 500. Like I said, with Apex, that intra-position trailing drawdown makes me trail even tighter than before. So if I get filled here, I'm cool with it. It's not a big deal.
Stop filled.
All right, so we made a good solid 1,500 on that short there. And on Top Step, we're up 319. So setting up these combines, looking to fade our levels, right? Overnight highs, down to VWAP, probably rotate all the way around. That's really the goal. It's hard to short through here at this point in time. Previous day high, also pretty much yesterday's close. Probably get a little bit of action around here, a lot of chop, maybe a pullback, bounce. It's a good area for buyers to want to buy also, but I do think if we flush these 794 level and hold below 794, that we could possibly rotate down to 773. 773 would be an interesting area to watch for a buyer. Up 10K on the two of the 250s and a 5K on two other 250s using copy trader gold. Big funded. Hell yeah. I love it. Hopefully you caught a piece of that little short there or all of it. Like I said, the reasons I take these trades are just high probability, low cost. Risk to reward on that was pretty great. What's the chances that it rips the highs? It could have. But the way it was acting around that previous, it's an all-time high. It's overnight highs, and it didn't rip up. You didn't get that big rip. No volume pushing through it yet. Buyers wanted to be down here somewhere. You just got to kind of think in terms of who you're buying from, who you're selling, who, you know what I mean? Like, who's selling it to you, who's buying it from you. Why would a bigger player who wants to move this market, why would they want to execute here when they probably could get priced at least a VWAP to execute down here to bid back up or even deeper into that 772 level? You know, do I think it happens right now? Like I said, there's a reason why I got out. Time to pass on Apex. There's no rules to time to pass. They used to, I don't know if this 250 thing is 1 day to pass still or not. It doesn't matter. None of us are done in 1 day. So it used to be that you had to trade 7 days no matter what. I think they got rid of that totally. We could pull that up, the rules on it. Wow. First off, I have these two yellow lines for the consolidation for the S&P, but this is the all-time high all the way up here. That's the overnight high. Look at how far away from that we are compared to how tight we are into that all-time high, overnight high in the S&P and the NQs, right? So if you are playing laggards, you could maybe play the S&P if the NQ breaks these all-time highs because it's breaking through, it's holding VWAP. It's going to hold this yellow line here, which is a consolidation support level. If it decides to break and hold this, you could rotate through these all-time highs if NQ wants to go. If this is going to be the leader and it's so far off the highs that it's not going to get there, then potentially you can short the NQ based on if the S&P fails this level and gets through VWAP. So there's ways to use the multiple indexes to your advantage. NVIDIA is still just being pushed down. The way AK mentions the way earnings plays goes, I kind of like the way he's been talking about it where however the session dictates during the day, it's likely that the earnings is just going to continue that session in that direction. If you're opening up on the highs and you're just rotating down the whole day, there's a chance that NVIDIA either beat or not. It's just going to be a sell algo order. It doesn't mean it'll hold the sell. It just means that first whippy move on that earnings play could be that sell move. If you're over on YouTube, click the like button. It'll help us out a lot. If you're on Tradecaster, I don't know how you do ratings, but click the ratings. If you like what we got going, they still do have 1 day to pass. Cool. Thank you, Jofi. Yeah, I didn't do the 1 day to pass thing, obviously, because I made it all. Right now, we're sitting up just over 6,000 in profit over the last 2 days. When you have that buffer, when you're able to have that drawdown, if I could trade 5 contracts, I'm totally cool with trading 5 to 10s, and seeing what happens, right? I traded a whole lot yesterday. I traded during our session. I traded after our session. Kind of just bounced back and forth between up 40, 35 to 4,500. So, but I was just working on some execution stuff, trying to leverage size, seeing what was best as far as adding contracts when you have that kind of size on. Apex does their sim environment here. It gives you a little bit, I don't know, I wouldn't call it more realistic, but a lot of like the fills happen slower as far as if you have 5 contracts out for order and it's on a limit or whatever, it'll fill 3 of them. It'll fill 2 of them, right? I don't think I've had that issue ever on a Top Step. So, but that's a more realistic thing. If you've never traded live, you got to get filled with size that's on the books. So you have to pay attention to that. I like it. I like this failure of this level to kind of drag us down. NVIDIA also still pushing through that pre-market low. Microsoft pumping, still rocking and rolling. Like I said, yesterday's highs is 432. When NVIDIA and we did this pullback here, Microsoft pulled back down into 430 and bounced, looking to come back through the high of the day today, and then probably up to 432.96, which is yesterday's high. Apple has been Mr. Disconnected. It just bounces around. I kind of just don't even pay attention to Apple anymore until it decides to take the lead. And currently, obviously, today is NVIDIA's big day. So kind of just watch NVIDIA, watch what it does throughout the day, and that'll probably assist in some of our moves. I would have anticipated if this market was going to get heavy with the way that NVIDIA sold off, that it would have gotten heavy as well. So this should have given you some follow through. We haven't had very much follow through at all in any of our short moves lately, like on our calls, but we've been able to secure that profit, which is good. That's all I need to see. AMD, SMCI, NVIDIA. Active Trader is live. Stocks and options. So if you're over looking to trade stocks and options, go over to Active Trader's room. He'll be live. Always trading stocks, options. Another great Tradecaster member. We're exclusively here. Basically, I execute on the futures markets, but I analyze a lot of the stocks as well. So I might not call out shares or trades or whatever, but I will give you bounce points. I will give you Mag 7 analysis if people want to talk about other stuff. There's that. I do have my Series 57. It allows you to trade prop for equities, firms, brokerages, and whatnot. So I do have that. I haven't been active with that. So once I maybe pop back into the prop world on the equity side, maybe I'll stream that as well. But that's there's a lot more rules involved with that, so it's kind of harder to stream kind of trading that way. Back at the overnight high, kind of just gave it a little wick. Let's see what the Delta's doing. Delta pretty much moving straight the same way that price is. I'm gonna flip this back here. I think it worked better that way. Honestly, it's hard. I gotta get a third screen if I want to do this, but we'll see. Not because of trading, but because of streaming. So you don't need more screens to trade, but for me personally, I have a streaming part of my screen that I need to have and talk and use. So I use more screen space for that. So you do have a little bit of a lower high here, a slightly more significant lower high in Delta. You're starting to get this little wedge pattern, which you're also getting the wedge pattern here. So you got value area high right there at 818. If it holds and accepts above, up into this VWAP band could be that area where price wants to just get drawn to, and then either see what Delta does. If Delta doesn't push through, then maybe you're going to get your divergence to get popped back down into this opening range, back through, and then see if we can get through the lows. Right now, Russell's leading upside. So if I've been using Russell as an indicator to kind of lead us in a direction, it's been pushing straight up, had a little bit of a pause at 845, and now is pushing back up some more. So we are looking at the Russell to kind of lead us, kind of hold us up higher. Russell is more of a small caps. It's a broader based index, gives you a bigger feel of the entire market. 2,000 names. NASDAQ, you can see obviously it's the NASDAQ 100, top 100 names, heavily tech weighted. S&P 500, top 500 companies. Understanding that they are the top companies of the market and they have to be accepted into the NASDAQ to be listed in NASDAQ or S&P, whatever. The market is quasi-rigged to go up, right? Because it's always going to be the best companies. So just be mindful of that as well, because that's kind of, I fight it all the time. I'm a perma bear at times, especially in this market. But for some reason, it's just it's hard for me to go long. But there is a lot of easy long trades. If I would have had opened up like down here, could have took that. And yesterday we tried that long twice down here. 3 times actually, and I chopped myself up so stupidly on this because I knew it was happening. I had it coming, and I just didn't let it breathe. It came down, stopped me out, and then I tried it again, went to break even, tried it again because I knew that break even was stupid. And I went to break even again, and it ripped up. And then obviously you can see And I called this second time through here. I said high or low. We're going to go higher. And what do you know? Straight up the rest of the day. But that's just me more reviewing on got to be better at long. So we're at that upper band of VWAP here. So watch for it to see if it's going to follow through or not. Russell kind of just wicking off that higher end. NVIDIA giving you a slight bounce up to and accepting into pre-market low area here by like 950. You could possibly reload this. See if we can get one on. Oh, I missed it. Fuck. Talked it and I missed it. There you go. So there was just talking it through and then just not being fast enough to execute on my entry there, shorting through that level. Because that would have basically just, I would have been able to put myself at even pretty much 1-to-1 right there. And now you should be able to rotate back to VWAP, back to the lows, see if that happens here. Talking about that upper band of VWAP being a huge role, playing a huge role in this, right? So once we came up into it, this time right here, you were looking for that short. So if you got into that short, you're going to have a good time here, I think, down into VWAP at least. See if it'll hold. I mean, the first line in the sand is this opening range high. If it can accept into the opening range, obviously opening range low and VWAP are right in the same area. So it should give you a heavy push to this low here. So watch that. Russell is now creeping down. So you do have a little help with the Russell. It ticked back up again. So maybe it's fighting this upper band of opening range here. You have point of control here at 810. I think we still have room to push this downside. But overall, if you took that short through that high, you're at least up 200. You're able to minimize your risk to the highs here. Under $200 on the risk per contract. Per contract. This here. There's the Russell starting to creep down again. Can we get up a little bit higher? Delta didn't quite follow through quite yet. Interesting. If I get a heavy Delta push, then this price follows through. If this makes it back over the overnight high, doesn't make new highs, and rotates back down, then we can look for our entry there. I forgot to run the copier, but it's all right. We'll make that work. So hoping that everybody's having a good session so far. We're open here almost to 9 o'clock. We have 4 minutes till the hourly close. My rules for myself personally is don't enter within the 5 minutes prior to the hourly close. That's just a personal rule. I just kind of over time have developed it based on not executing properly right around that hourly, or just getting wicked out of a trade at the hour and then it going my direction. So allowing that hourly confirmation gives me just a little bit more confidence to execute on anything that I'm going to execute on. And also today, Wednesday, we have, I'll refresh this. We have existing home sales coming in, which is anticipated at 4.2, and month over month expected as a 0.5% increase. So something about this existing home sales. And then we got oil inventories at 9:30. But watch, so having this number coming out on the hour also gives me pause. However, it could lead to our setup kind of working out nicely. So let's say it pops up here, gives you a bit of a wiki action up over this. You get maybe a little divergence here. You get Delta to kind of hold back, even though price is being whippy to the high side based on whatever that number is, and then look to fade it short. Or if we're not able to do that, right, if it just kind of sits here until that number and then just melts off, you might not be able to catch it because it's just going to be a little bit away from the level before it happens, right? So it's just all a matter of timing it and seeing if that number comes in hot or not. If housing sales is up and increasing, that means the market supposedly, still resilient, still strong, still showing that there is a reason to kind of hold rates where they are, because that's kind of one of the bigger things to anticipate. If existing home sales are down, then you're going to look to see if potentially that rate cuts might still be on the table. So it's just showing that a slowing in the housing market. But I don't know what we're going to get. Nobody does. I don't know which way it's going to go. But if I did, I would be a very wealthy man if I knew exactly where I was going to go every single time. I have a good idea of how levels will work. I have a good idea of where reaction will occur. But other than that, we don't know if it's going to go up, down, sideways, whip us around, dance around a bit, right? Just showing over the last 2 days the possibility that you can make this kind of money, right? Even like Jofi said, he passed this 250K account, making 10K yesterday, and Leezy up 10K on 2 of them. So you can make this money without being reckless, right? I still limit my risk on it. I'm not going crazy, right? I'm gonna see if I can execute something on this one. The level I want, 24 quarter. Let's use this level here. No, 24 quarter. Creeping up pre-number. See if that helps. Came in at 4.14. Consensus was 4.21. And negative 0.19. Previous at negative 0.37. I'll sell 2. I'll sell 2 and I'll add 2 below here. See, worse than expected to me is interesting as far as... Yeah, I'm going to let that thing dance around. See if it'll stop us in. There we go. We're in. We're going to be short on this number. Although it could be a good number because it's negative. And that could lead to rate cut potentially. I don't know. Who knows? But it looks like we're good. I'm going to add 2 if it gets down below 12. Well, down below this consolidation here. Got to get through this bit of consolidation here. If we can get through this, I think that flush comes. Russell really selling because of that number, which is interesting. Like I said, it's been leading us in directions, not necessarily having us catch up or not, but at the same time, it does give you an indication of where the broader market has an idea of where this could go, and then possibly some of these names will fight that as well. I just want to see if this will get through this consolidated low here. If it can get through this consolidated low, you should get a pop push downside. I'm only risking, half of what I made today here at the highs. Not even half. I made 1,500, so a third of what I've made so far. There we go. Pushing, getting a little heavier. Top step backs, tilt 53% to the short side. Nothing crazy, but a big wick like this up into that upper band of VWAP. I have too many platforms, but into the upper band of VWAP again. Looking to see if we can at least get a pullback into the VWAP area. And then I want a full rotation, to be honest with you, back to the other end of the VWAP. That would be a really nice, clean rotation on a day prior to NVIDIA earnings. Kind of like let the market digest a little bit of what it had. Also, like I said, I think down into that 772. 772 is down here is a realistic target for us as far as the liquidity zone is concerned, right? So You can see it on the Top Step X platform. We're still sitting on that consolidation. If we crack this low here, we should be able to flush in. I'm going to take one off, or two of them off down here at the consolidated low, and then I'll let the other two run. Sitting in the money here, safe currently. Could give a pop if NVIDIA pops. So I'm just going to watch this delta here. Delta not following through, kind of ticking up. There is this upper opening range high, just holding. But like I said, if it cracks, we should be able to get down through, at least in the VWAP, take that first set of contracts off, secure a little bit of profit on it, and then rotate maybe all the way down to 72, like I said. 72 would be not my bottom end, but that's where I think we'll run into some more major interest in consolidation as far as where it starts to become interesting for it. You can see that wick off bottom, that flush of the low, rotate, and then straight back upside. If we get close to this, I'm going to get my first one to even. We'll pretty much get there now. I'll get it there now because if it's kind of threatening it, it should fill it. If not, it'll stop us out at even, and I'm okay with that. Actually, right now I'm not. This account is gotta be a little risky on it.
John, if I understood, you said a failed downside option on gold, and D, what did you say after that?
I said it's more cooking though, because I usually want to see a little bit more participation once we go.
815, very, very strong level there. Does not want to accept below that 815 level for some reason. If S&P gives you any sort of bounce here, I'm just going to go over there and flatten that one out. Honestly, I'm going to go to even. Even it is, because I don't want to bother it if it doesn't go here. This seems like it'll give me one more bounce if it's not going to flush. I want a heavy flush here. Give me that delta flush. I want to see delta break through here. The high of this, 21, that's the high of the value area. Yeah, I'm out even on that account. You can see that rotation up to that high end there. Just didn't want to give any follow through to it. Didn't lose anything on it. Still up 1,500 on the day. So no harm, no foul there. If this level gives up, though, that's really where I want to be in. So I'm going to definitely have an entry just lingering there. It's not a big size, so it's not a big deal. Not like a crazy heavy size on that. Top Step X still sitting up 319 on the day. Just a nice quick trade there from overnight high to previous day highs. As NVIDIA creeping back upside. So that's kind of what's... So here's my thought process on what I'm looking at right now. We got a pretty decent flush, right? We made new all-time highs during market hours. Great. Market's happy now. We could sell off. We started to give us up a little bit. Started giving it up. And once we started doing that, NVIDIA rolled right through major levels, key levels, flushed through pre-market lows, got pretty heavy, and the market just ran into a brick wall right here down in this consolidation. It just did not have that extra little follow through that it should have had based on the way NVIDIA was selling off, right? NVIDIA was really, really heavy. Microsoft even started selling off during that as well, even though it hasn't quite gotten back down into the lows of pre-market. Still Microsoft relatively strong, but the man of the day is NVIDIA. So now that NVIDIA's creeping back upside and the market's just holding these highs, I mean, it's being resilient, but now we're through that level of 15. I'm in on that with 2 contracts. Nothing crazy. I'm not going to take it off there now. I'm going to let this thing flush. So if NVIDIA now gives up, so now that we have this actual good flush of this level, we should get a good breakdown now. Going to trail it out. I didn't add size. So if we had our original position on with risk to the high of the day, because we never added that second contract, would have been fine. But I'm cool with just taking that even, and then now taking the actual flush would be nice. If NVIDIA can give us that breakdown, then we'll have confidence that it'll go. If NVIDIA holds up, then this market probably continues to just whip us in and then get us out. Whip us in, get us out. So that's kind of what I'm looking at with the way it's acting right now. It is pretty heavy, though, so I think that we're likely, like I said, down to 772. And we're stopped at even on this one, too. Just based on lack of trust, based on the way NVIDIA is creeping upside. This is just another the way I'm talking about it. I had that order there, so I just never took it off. Cool with just leaving it at even. Still up over 256. So a little over 6,000 on the profits on this combine here, on a 250K combine. The 250K is a $15,000 target. So take your chances, shoot your shots, size up, do what you got to do to make that 15K before your rebill. Like I said, the reason I didn't like this for follow through quite yet was because of NVIDIA being back up above that 950 area, but then it gave it right up. So now it's giving it up, starting to creep back down. Could allow this to now start its way back to the lows. If I missed it, I missed it. It's cool. Still too close to VWAP. You're using VWAP as support there, right? Wicking VWAP again. Does it get that bounce? S&P is still holding above that level that I was mentioning before. This does seem like it wants to hold up. These are like very whippy bottoming candles. You do have a liquidity type move here in the delta as well. Although this did start to push down, and you are getting a little bit heavy here in the delta as well there. So let's see here. If we crack above the opening range high, back to the same area, does it just consolidate up here for a while? I still think that Russell creeping down, I mean, the market wants to go downside. It's just how it feels, right? It feels heavy. It feels like shorts could get paid. I do feel like 772 is a realistic area for us to come in, for buyers to want to come in again, just based on the way it flushed pre-market, right? It flushed pre-market, but also it's been my key level for a long time, right? I have had this, well, not a long time. I'm going to not lie to you. It's been since this high was made. So since this high was made, that's a key level, and you bounce on it, it works. We grabbed liquidity there, once, twice, 3 times here, trying to push back down into it, but we're getting stopped by this consolidation right here. There's a decent amount of orders down to 15, down to 808. I mean, down to the very bottom here is, I'd say that level right there is pretty important, 807. So what did we come down to? We came down to VWAP, which is 806.75. Wicked it. Now we're bouncing again. So if it gives up, then possibly look to get it to go down into this, 72, 794, down into this, blue support line here. Maybe, like I said, 772 is not far off down through the low. And it does give a good area of interest, but it could creep below it a little bit down into 65s. But that's just my thought on like where price wants to go based on NVIDIA earnings, based on FOMC meeting minutes later. If you're an oil trader, you got oil inventories coming out in about 15 minutes. So you can see why I got out of that. There's a lot of thought process that goes into what I do. Maybe sometimes I'm too smart for my own good, get myself into out of some good positions. However, the way that all of my confluences work, normally when I'm in like a regular groove and things are going the way I should be executing, I am able to capitalize on these types of moves here. We pretty much caught this entire thing, aside from this little wick here. So we're very happy about that. Same deal with this. We were looking to catch the short after this big liquidity grab there. And you saw the way price was acting. I didn't mind getting taken out at even for it because, I mean, at this point, it's trying to break through. This is manipulation. So if you get out, you get out. It is no big deal. I was talking about getting into it here. We had another opportunity at it. That rotation right down to VWAP was that target. So we tried it twice. Well, really, we tried it. It was one trade idea here. Technically, this one, like I said, I got out at even because of that manipulation. This needed to go there because if you see this candle here and it's coming to approach that level to break through that, I anticipate that this is going to crack and then try and sweep the highs and get you out, right? And find some liquidity. If it's going to get short again, maybe get short up here. So why would I want to stay in this and risk the chance of it coming up and taking out my entire stop and giving back what I made? If it's going to go here and go, and I would have added on, and then I would have had more, and then I would have been able to get one of those contracts off down here. Then I would have been good with that. At least I would have had this piece on, and then the add, and then this add at break even. So, realistically, you have that thought process there. But with that manipulation, and now also you're getting this bit of a... You got that coming in. So realistically for me, it's relatively strong compared to why I was anticipating the short. So we're relatively strong. Oops, sorry. Yeah. You can see that the markets are just holding up, especially the NQ, right? NQ holding up more resilient than the S&P. S&P's all-time high is this white line here. The all-time high is right here. This is what it is. We're at all-time highs. A lot of these markets, when it gets through these all-time highs, it gives you these blow-off tops. You get the capitulation, then you start to see that fade. Haven't got it yet. Yeah, so for my strategy, right, let's say we make new highs. I'm going to go into this because it'll be easy to just display it, right? You see how low we are in Delta here? We had a really strong pullback on the Delta. Price pulled back to VWAP. That was great, but it never followed through because whatever support is here, right? Now we're pushing back up in price. Price is coming into this, overhead resistance here. We do have this upper band of VWAP, which is one standard deviation away from that VWAP, right? A lot of times you'll see it runs into it, sells off, runs into it, sells off, runs into it, sells off. And every time it runs into it, you're seeing a bit of Delta just melting off, right? But if this breaks this high now, let's call it, and gets into, almost to 40, and you see this Delta not even coming close to, this 4,111.75 level. So this level here is where Delta should be when it breaks through that high. If it's at least close, or, you want it to be breaking through these highs if we're breaking through this high here, right? So if this doesn't get breached, I'm looking to see what kind of action comes on that next little candle or Delta, right? I want to see if Delta is going to give me that divergence showing that there's going to be sellers coming in, right? Because with aggressive buying, that's all this is aggressive buyers versus aggressive sellers. People coming in on the bid and the ask and buying or selling, right? So you can see how strong it's pushing up now. Delta's acting with price. We're pretty close to breaking this. We broke this high. We didn't quite break this high with Delta, but I anticipate if highs go, Delta should push just the way it has, probably give you one of these candles here, and then you get that follow through. So that'll give you the indication. And then also if Delta's leading, let's say Delta's leading through the high and price is just kind of butting its head up with price, there's a chance that the price is just waiting to get broken through whoever's that seller that's selling, keeping it there. But right now, we're pretty congruent with the way price has acted. Pull back, push up, new high here, new high there. Not quite a new high. So you don't really have a divergence quite here, right? If this does, like I said, if it blows off the top and Delta just lingers down here, that's a good indication that it wants to sell off. It could sell off right now. It's not like we don't need the Delta divergence for sell-off to occur. But for my strategy is what I look for at key levels. I look for a whole bunch of confluences that I talk them out as I see them, but sometimes I don't mention them, right? Like right now, Russell is pulling back, trying to break through the low of its opening range. And Russell's been leading us in a direction. So you could see that the NQ has been trying to push up. Russell's been just trying to creep down in a pretty steady manner, right? Especially since that number came out at 9. So with Russell creeping down, the follow through on the upside is limited on this breakout, but also with the NVDA earnings, the NQ hasn't followed through on the downside, right? Now you're seeing Delta pushing down and price pushing up. So to get back to the Delta question, this is kind of what you look for, right? If you're seeing what I'm seeing here, you see price pushing higher and my Delta's pushing low. You see that, Leezy? If this wicks this high, pushes up into this VWAP band, or even it doesn't even have to do that, right? I have some aggressive sellers coming in here right now. So you could see that sellers are coming in, but the price is still creeping up. if the overnight high cracks, for me, that's a good to go sell signal, right? I'll stop sell here and look to see if I can get a flush of this level. Delta really heavy to the downside. Price is holding up. I want this to go. If it cracks this level, I want it to go. Let's see if it does. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, we're going to be out. That's all I could do is look for all my confluences, look for the levels to hit, look for my divergences, and then see what happens from there. If it doesn't work, it does work like 75% of the time. So if you're able to manage your risk, I'm in on the trade evade. I'm in here, risking about what I made on this day to see if I can pull a bit more. See if Delta is acting the same way. Still getting heavier. Price now starting to push through that level. We did accept into the value area high. So the value area high is here at 24. So now you see that flush coming in. That's a really great way to time your trading, right? If it's going to flush, it's going to flush and it's going to go pretty quickly. You're going to be able to limit your risk here. The reason I go to break even so quickly is because I'm able to see the timing of when the heaviness is going to come in based on Delta. If it doesn't follow through all the way, then that's, it is what it is. I can only control my entry and kind of where I want price to end up is, have targets, have ideas of outs. But if it doesn't follow through, that's not the strategy. That's just price action being price action. I don't know how to explain it any other way. But, if you stick in here and you understand, kind of what I'm looking at and the reasoning behind a lot of what I do, then you'll start to see that it's very repeatable. It's very easy to understand. It's simplistic, but it's also, it's kind of one good trade, baby. If you're sized up a little bit, you could have took a couple off there. But I think we do have a flush to come. If it breaks 15, we'll look out below. 15 was that key level before, but we're stopped out there for a little just past break even. Probably still have a good flush there. What'd I get on that? I caught $10. Hell yes. Up 323 on the count.
Stop filled.
I stopped out on that one as well. I had it at even. Could have risked to the high, but I didn't get the follow through that I wanted to get when I got it, right? 5,800 across 4. If only they were funded. Guess what, Leezy? They're going to be funded. At some point, they're going to be funded. And then you just magnify it over and over and over again. But don't go crazy. Don't fall for the trap of that is going to be a consistent day-to-day number, right? It will be; those will be funded. That's a great way to get yourself funded. You have to be a little bit aggressive in the combines because that's just kind of how this works. That's just part of this business. I think this does flush, to be honest with you. I mean, really could have held that to the high, but I don't trust the way it's not following through quick enough for me. But you could have easily, that's what, 24 to 14, 10 points. I didn't get quite to 14. You got to 16. So really quick, heavy flush right into resistance. You couldn't ask for much more than that. And then you want that bigger follow through. You could definitely get it here. NVIDIA's giving it up. Delta broke the low. Price did not break the lows. I think VWAP gets tagged. There it goes. Yeah, so greed does play a huge role. There's that big, nice move. So would have been fine to leave it at the high. I'm cool with what I did there. It's all good. We're up on the day, not trying to give a lot back. But, yeah, so let's call it 5,800. Divide that by 5. Get yourself $1,400, $1,200 a day per account. Instead of trading 5, 10, 15 contracts, you're going to be trading 1s and 2s and let that $6,500 buffer work for you, right? Let our strategy here work for you. Let this thing, you don't have to be so tight. It's great to take the paper cut, but if you're able to kind of hammer out of it. But if you could let this thing go, right? Risk down, build the buffer. Then if you see something that you want to size into it. but don't. I mean, you can expect to make $5,800 a day if you're able to kind of maintain that, but you need a big buffer for that because that could disappear real quick. As I know, like I had my Top Step X funded account, my XFA. I had it at 54K. Took an $800 payout, and then after that, pretty much just ground down $3,000 to a little bit of nothing. So currently, so I took my payout and then I just ground myself down to nothing. But I'm working on getting myself back into a new XFA. I want to build. So the goal for me for the rest of May, since May has been such a shit month for me, I'm gonna do my best to get as many funded accounts set up as possible. I think that's the goal for now because I think realistically that'll set me up for a lot better, a lot more comfortable trading in my mind. Because obviously, like if you've been on the stream, Leezy's been here, Jofi's been here, Freehouse has been here, everybody's been here, day in and day out. The strategy works. I've been calling out level by level. I've been telling you pretty much what's going to happen on a day-to-day basis at each key level, giving you some good advice, and then I don't take them myself. So I'm gonna be able to do that a little bit better. I think once I get back into the groove, also keeping the stream, call out the levels, do what I need to do, and then execute more appropriately when I have a bunch of accounts set up and ready to go instead of just really hammering in. So you can see that VWAP is acting very strong. Just that real good flush, that delta divergence. Leezy had me talking about it, had me looking for it. You saw it really, start to play in here. That was like the best example of what we were looking for, right? Leezy's looking. He's seeing price trying to make new highs, trying to get over that overnight high. And then you're seeing as prices, this candle right here is basically your indication that this is going to happen, right? You're getting a push up. It was getting green, trying hard to hold over that overnight high. But on that candle, this started to happen. You started to get a delta push down. Delta was continuing to push down. It was pushing on lows as this was trying to push through highs. So you had this big sell-off. You could easily have just shorted through it. We did, right? You short through it. That first flush down, I got to even because I figure, hey, we're going to get the breakdown of this level here. Usually it's a fast move, fast trail. That didn't quite justify me saying it's a fast move. So I got myself to even just to protect myself from that blow off, just in case, based on the way price was acting beforehand. Sometimes you get stopped at break even. Sometimes that trade just continues to run and melt off. It is, saw it here when we took it this time. We were able to get off at VWAP and then take off a little bit more. Same deal with this one. Break even, just with the lack of follow through at that level. So you can see it's just kind of stuck in a consolidated range at this point. If we can finally break through this opening range low, I think that would give you the selling. And then also if you start to see stronger buyers up here, could rotate. I don't know if we're going to get up high enough, to be honest with you. It might. I don't feel like price wants to get up there yet. And if it does break this overnight high again, I would watch Delta in a different light, right? Because we sold off so hard with those aggressive sellers. And then we ran into that brick wall here again. This 15 level is pretty important. So it might give it to you at 15. Right? The last time we were at 15, we broke it here. Delta was up in this range. You're kind of creeping right back to the same area. So you get back above 15s. You're holding it. If this delta starts to pop and push back up into that area here, you got to just watch the behavior of it. It's so much deeper now than it was before. You see the depth of it here. We did creep back up. You got to just be careful because that first little break of it, it might linger here. If it flattens out and doesn't sell off, then it might continue on and then Delta might try and catch up. So I'll talk about it if it does happen. I think we might be getting that a little bit of a lower high here. We'll go with this. I like that 30 actually. we'll go with that. So you can see that heaviness started coming at 15. But Delta's not following through to the downside now. Not making new lows right at this value where the opening range low where we've had resistance, but now we're starting to break it. Watch if this cracks and holds. 72 is my target, right? I said, but there's that lower band of VWAP that's creeping up on us. It may expand if this becomes more volume pouring in, but it's not. And you see Delta, this is a good divergence on the bottom end here at this level, right? At VWAP at the low end of the opening range. Delta didn't make new lows. Price did make new lows. Look for it to start to crack and push higher. So it gave it to, the indication gave it to us that it wasn't going to follow through. So let's say you were short. Let's call it, you shorted the first sign, right? The first, if I could code this, it would be so much better to talk about, right? Because it can indicate, this is where, if I were to have coded it, that would be an indication that it had popped up. If I were to code it again, this bottom here, right? As you flush through a key level, opening range low, you're flushing through, making new lows of price, and you can see big flush in Delta here, pop, flush in the low, and then you can see a higher low. Lower high in price, higher low in Delta. There's your indication that the move has ended that you were looking to have caught, right? Once you got that divergence, this is your move. If you watch that whole thing in unison and you decide, I'm not going to get out until it tells me the same thing on the other end. Yes, you might get stopped out early, right? However, you enter with the, let's call it here, you enter a 24, stop over the high at 30. That's 6 points of risk, not a crazy bit of risk. If you're like me and you want to take 2 contracts and take one off at VWAP, just because VWAP is that level, take one off, leave that other one still at the high of the day. You have covered that risk and then some beyond, right? So even if you get stopped out for a small loss on that contract, you're still up on the position, right? And then if you're waiting for that divergence on the other end, you get it here at that opening range low. You got that big divergence. You can see that big pop. You could see probably you would have got that second contract off at VWAP at that point, right? Or even if you would have probably saw, I think I was starting to talk about it as we flushed this low. So as you flush this low and you notice that this isn't following through, you could set your trailing stop to basically this key level and think that that key level is going to pop you because it's sort of an indication that it wants to go the other way. Same thing now kind of happening coming in here. Price trying to push lower. Delta still holding up higher. More aggressive buyers are trying to hold this market up instead of the sellers. And my other leading indicator is the Russell. The Russell is pushing up a little bit, pushed up into resistance at 2101, but now is cracking through it. So with the Russell paired with the S&Ps, paired with the NASDAQ, paired with the NVDA, I have all these confluences, and I'm able to kind of get a big feel for the ebbs and flows of the way this market's acting. You're not getting follow through, clear as day, right? This is a choppy day, and for us to be up 323 on this account and over $1,500 on the other account is good. You can't be mad about that, right? For us to have taken off as much as I could on this low here, I'm pretty happy with that, right? I mean, I took off only one contract down here because I wanted to see if we can get more of a flush. So I got off 3 of the 5, and then we took off the last 2 at this area. So, we were able to pretty much maximize this position with those 5 contracts. Will this act as an overhead resistance again? This downtrend here? It could. I mean, the market wants to be heavy, really, right? Like I've been saying it. The market wants to be heavy. Just for me personally, it's choppy. It's something to avoid. At some point, it will break. Is it now? Is it 1 o'clock? Is it when NVIDIA gives earnings? Do we creep down to 794 right here again? That's a good bounce area as well. 794. There was a few liquidity sweeps here, right? You could see, I mean, even if we get down into 790, right? That's that round number. I can see it kind of drifting down there, but not giving us that hard follow through that we like to see. on a day-to-day basis. S&Ps, look at how flat S&Ps is. S&Ps has been between 53.40 and 53.44, a 4-point range. That is a super tight S&P range for a day. Like when you see a day like yesterday with expanding, price action from 22 up to 37, that's a much bigger range than what we got going on in the S&Ps right now. So with the S&Ps so stacked, holding below all-time highs, it's really not going to go anywhere. This is something possibly that happens all day, with your FOMC meeting minutes. Even though we already know what they said, we already have a really good idea because all these Fed speakers talk every single day, apparently. So we have a good idea of where their stance is and what they're looking at. So that FOMC meeting minutes probably gets an algo whip to move a little bit, but I think realistically, the big move is going to happen when NVIDIA reports after hours today. It'll report, and we'll get their anticipated earnings. Where is it? Didn't want to pop up, huh? Okay. Anticipated earnings is 560. Estimated 24.593 billion in revenues. It's really going to be all about the guidance and where they anticipate them, moving forward, and then also if they're going to announce any sort of, projects, or if they're going to do stock splits or something to make their price more affordable for even more people to trade. If that happens, if they're going to announce a stock split, I guarantee they'll fucking pop. Leezy, I like your levels. I like it a lot. I feel like a lot of us in this room have a really good feel for like why these levels make a lot of sense. If we didn't, then I wouldn't have as many people showing up on a day-to-day basis. So, my goal is to keep everything as simple as possible for everybody. Try and teach in a way, or just kind of keep talking through what I see, so it kind of clicks in your mind of why a price action would do what it's doing on a particular day, and then just kind of allow you to make those decisions and just kind of be able to do it on your own when nobody's watching, when you're not listening to anything, and you can just see the levels. You can understand just the thought process behind, executing. Yes, maybe my executions in May have been poor, and my P&L for May is poor, but my vision of the market, I'm seeing it really. I'm really seeing it well. I just didn't adjust to the lack of follow through in my moves, which got myself into the hole in the funded. And then once you get in a hole in the funded account, you start to try and dig out. And then when you start to try and dig out, nothing happens, right? Usually when you start to try to do anything in the markets, that's when the bad shit happens. You want to let the market tell you what to do, and then just do it. And then if it doesn't do what you expected, then just move on to the next thing that it's telling you to do. If you could simplify it to just those terms, that simple, then you're going to be just fine with profitability. And also just don't go YOLOing into, big positions. I can basically show you I got paper cutted my way all the way out of that account, express funded, except for one day where I only max lost on that account one day. Here's that funded account. It only goes back to here, but this is where I started the shit, right? So if we're going to talk about it, we're going to show it, we're going to be as transparent as possible. We took our payout. For some reason, it's not showing the payout. Sometimes I'll refresh it. It shows it, and then it doesn't. Give it a second. I think the more users they have, there we go. So this shows the adjustment. This is when I took the payout that day. I was at this point here at that 3,100, feeling great. Even though I was up at the 4,000 mark, I took a bigger loss the day before this. And then that day I took this loss. So I went negative 700, negative 1,000. My daily loss limit personally is 500 on these accounts. Trading one contract. That day I was like, hey, I'm going to make it back. And then I decided that I'm going to double down and lose. And then once I got into this pull down here, it just became trade tight, lose a little, trade tight, make a tiny profit, trade tight, make a smaller profit. And I'm still eligible for a payout. It's funny. I've had 30 winning days, 60% winners. My stats aren't terrible. This is with the terrible losing streak. When I was doing pretty decent and sticking to my plan and executing, I was up in that 75, 80% winning trade percentage. My average winning trade was in the middle here. And my average losing trade, it was up more like 160, closer to 200. And then my average losing trade was right around where it is because that's, all I risk, right? And you can see looking back, this is really where it started, May 6th. Then you got 700, 1,000, 300. Then I got myself back into the good mindset. And then I just paper cut it. Lost my max daily, made it back, lost. And now we're here where we're at now. Just in a not a great place to be able to execute. We're basically at $7 to $8 left in this funded account. But we traded 30 days, and it was basically the last 7 that put us in that knockout blow. We'll call it day 21 really started it. So 21 days before you hit off that level, it's pretty decent. Looking to get back into that, build up all the other funded accounts, have as many XFAs waiting for me as possible past this 250K. I'm only doing one of these. I know a couple of guys in here, they're doing multiple. Leezy's doing a couple. I know Jofi's got a couple. Just looking to... Are you guys copy trading with Trade-of-8? Or are you on NinjaTrader and you're using their copier? I have flat price action. This is not tradable anymore. If you find an entry here, wait. So on Trade-of-8, I haven't done the trade copier on Trade-of-8, so you can teach me today. Where are you going for the copier? In settings? Where do you go in here to get me when I start to add? Let's say I get this 250 funded. I'll use whatever payout I take from this 250 to open another 250 and then just start copying and building. I just want to see how that copier works on here because TopStepX is pretty easy. You just kind of click through their settings and then you add a copier here, copy trading. Click your account name at the top of the screen. Okay. Account name. Is this saying? Oh, manage groups. If I guess it would pop up if I had it. All right. That's interesting. Don't see it, but I remember seeing it at some point. So maybe it's when I have multiple accounts, it's on there. There's a break above that level. Let's see if we get any divergence. Look at how tight that range is. And Russell's leading us back upside again. I appreciate your help there, Lizzie. I think I just need to have another account on there to show it. The only thing, I have the drop down arrow, but it doesn't say groups or anything. It just says go to replay. There's a little setting button. The setting button doesn't open anything. And on this one, nothing. And this one just opens that. I think like I said, I think if I had more than one Apex account, then it would be there. But I do not have more than one currently. I just have this 250 running. NVDA is creeping back upside. We have Russell creeping up as well. So we got Russell creeping up, NVIDIA creeping up. Delta is just starting to do the same thing that price action is doing. You can see on this chart here, you kind of crept up, pulled back, crept up, pulled back, and now you're, lingering above this opening range. This opening range is pretty tight. Like I said, it's only 45 ticks, which if you just were playing this opening range is $220 risk. You play the people trying to play the breakout, trying to play the breakdown. That's a nice little short pop. That liquidity grab, trying to push down through 7. That's movement now. 9:43 a.m. here. That's nice push. I just don't know if it's going to be enough yet. We are just stuck in this range, and I don't trust that this is going to be a good, even though the break held there. We're not making new lows in price. I mean, in Delta, price is trying to go. But you see now it's trying to catch up. So there's a catch-up candle in the aggressive sellers, but still a higher low. Still a higher low here. And then you can still see that this is making lower lows. Gives you another indication possibly for this to rotate back. I don't really have an entry on this. I think this is realistically manipulation, liquidity grab, liquidity grab, liquidity grab, liquidity grab. There's not a lot of volume in this. The only volume is early. It's been diminishing volume this entire day, right? You can see this diminishing volume here. No pops. The only pop was slight bit of increased volume on these two candles here, and even that hasn't really followed through very much. Just lower and lower and lower volume. Even on the spikes are getting lower. So you're just not getting a ton of people out here to execute against. Well, what do you got for me, Maximus? Oh, pick it up. It's all good. Pick it up. Pick it up. Put it on the plate. Thank you. You did good. Give me a high five. It's okay. Sometimes you drop it. You got to train to be a waiter. Come here. Give me a hug. Come on.
It's okay.
It's all good. Look, it's right here.
Look, that is David.
It's good. We're good.
What the table broke?
No, the table didn't break.
What that make a mess?
You made a mess. You did make a mess. But we can clean it.
It's okay.
It's all good. You just got to be a little bit slower, okay?
You were so excited. It's okay.
Thank you, Maximus. Good job. I got my coffee. Thank you, Max. Oh, while we're in this lull here, I want to bring up a few things. Got my coffee again. Scalper's Delight, dark roast. I always start my session. You always can see I have my espresso shot here. That's our short squeeze espresso. I got my Scalper's Delight dark roast. So two of my favorite things, short squeezes and scalping. Daytradingcoffeeco.com. It's running across the bottom of the screen, always, all the time. It's in your face, and I'm sure you've seen it. It's on the bottom. If you use my username, policingpips at daytradingcoffeeco.com, you get 15% off everything because it's my company, so I do what I want. You can get it out there. We got a lot of shirts, mugs. This is one of our mugs here, the Bullish on Caffeination mug here. One of the fan favorites. The coffee that I'm drinking is one of the top selling ones too. People like this darker roast. Our VWAP Bounce Guatemala is also a top roast. We're sitting on VWAP right now, so our VWAP Bounce Guatemala is fantastic for people who like a little bit of a medium roast. That's what we like to use for that one. I think, there's a fire drill on Top Step. If you're into it, there's a fire drill. Not sure what they're offering today, but I'll enter it. Why not? 500 randomly traders receive a code to lock up to 10 Top Step X trading combine for as low as $19 a month. I'll just keep doing it. Why not? You're going to keep sending me the code. I'll keep taking them. So I don't know why. I guess they haven't been. I thought we were still using that first Top Step X code, but I guess they got rid of it yesterday or 2 days ago. Head over to Top Step's YouTube and then click that link at the top of their chat, and they will send you the code to get $20 Top Step X. Just click that link. It's fire drill. That's the reason I actually have that up and open, because if I hear them running it, then I'll send it out to you guys so you guys can get cheap combines. You can get into the Top Step X platform if you want for an affordable price. A 50K combine for $20. I know I'm in a 250 for $20 right now, but this is really not for everybody. I don't think that a $250,000 account with a $15,000 profit goal is for everybody if you're not going to take it the correct way. So while that is a distraction, there's your Top Step X. It's only active for 15 minutes. I think they leave it up. So just 15 minutes. Use that link. The other thing I wanted to mention is that my Day Trading Coffee Co. partnerships that I'm starting to develop. My goal with the coffee company is, as we start to grow and start to get bigger and better profits, we're going to start to give away accounts. I want to give away funded accounts. I want to give away some other stuff. But right now, we are partnered with Lightspeed. So I don't trade equities currently, but I will. When I did trade professionally with T3, I use Lightspeed, and I love their platform. It's fantastic. It's one of the best, top of the line brokers. Speed is Lightspeed. It's fast. You got great commissions, great equities based on our offer that we have here. So if you click the link that I'll send you right here, is the link to Lightspeed. Normally, you need a minimum of $10,000 to open in one of their accounts. They're offering it to our customers for $5,000. So if you want to go over there, click that link, use the code COFFEE, open an account, open a demo, try it out, and then see if you like it. If you're going to trade equities as well as futures, if you want to start getting into the SPYs and the Qs and talking like how Deck is doing his shorting class this whole month, if you want to get involved and still have the opportunity to get involved with Deck's shorting class and be able to do that, they have top locate fees and everything here. If you don't understand what locates are and stuff like that, it's cool. They'll go through education and stuff like that, and you can go into Deck's room and he'll tell you about what the locates are and stuff on a pretty frequent basis. So Deck and AK, they all use Lightspeed for execution because it is, a fantastic platform, right? You can see here, this is kind of what it looks like. It's pretty easy to use once you actually get to know what you're looking at. Starting to understand, order routing and whatnot. You can order route to wherever you want, whatever broker you want to use, whatever exchange you want to use. And, it's great. It's fantastic. And then, like I said, if you're in here and you don't even plan on opening a brokerage at any point, just do me a favor and click the link that I provided, because the more people that I get to click it, the more it shows that there is interest in it. And then I can do these giveaways. Like, I want to be able to keep this partnership alive with Lightspeed and be able to, I don't care about whatever, $100 if somebody opens an account or whatever it is, whatever it ends up being. I don't even know how much it is, because you got to open all, it's a big time move to try and put money into a brokerage, right? So I'm not anticipating thousands of people opening new brokerage accounts. I would love to see it. I think it's a really great platform and a great resource for people. But I want to prove concept that I can get people to go to their website, prove a good partner, and as long as you click the link, it'll at least show that I'm getting click through, getting people to come in and take a look at their site, and keep that partnership alive until I'm able to build the profits from the coffee company up and load in a cash account for somebody to give away. And that's why I just want to keep doing that over and over and over again. And the more I do it with them and other brokerages, maybe I partner with Top Step as they see fit, or one of these other companies, and start to give away free combines and stuff for people to get into. That's really kind of what I'm looking for, right? Not that I'm trying to sell you on anything. I just want you guys to have the best opportunities, the best platforms, and to be able to execute how you want to be able to execute. And this is going to be what's going to help you out. So while we're sitting in this chop, avoid trading it and head over to that link that I just sent out. The 2 links. First one is Top Step. That's their Top Step TV, your live stream, whatever. They did a fire drill. If you click that, I think it's only active for a few more minutes, probably till 10 o'clock. If you click it, they'll send you a link or a code for tomorrow, so you can load up on $20 50K accounts. And they do those all the time. So I'll kind of keep that up in the background so you don't miss out on any of those fire drills while you're watching me. I'll send them over to you guys as I see them come out. So that's why I listen to it and I kind of hear it in the background. If I hear that coming out, I'll send it to you guys so you have the opportunity to get the best funding opportunities for yourself. So that's why I want to provide Lightspeed. That's why I want to provide, the links that I do. Okay. And the more coffee you buy, the better chance you get for a funded account when I start doing the giveaways. Anybody has anything they're looking at, let me know.
By the end of the day, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I learned not to put too much stock unless it's like a really big difference. Like they were expecting a draw of like -5 million, and they get a build of like 7 million or something. Then you might see more correlation.
I want to see if this. My buddy is sending me something. I want to see if it takes beans or pods. Let me ask him. Sorry.
Cardboard is now in neutral daytime, and it's not low. I would like to see that in low as well. A stronger area. Crude oil. That's not nothing. Crude oil might be failing the ocean. We'll see. Anyway.
Still just a whole lot of nothing. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my my buddy his coffee.
Yeah, because when I started trading, when I went into prop in 2013, ES was like locked up in a 12-tick range all day.
Alrighty.
Why don't you like trading ES? That's why. So hit my like, this line.
Let's go, Evan. Good stuff. Sorry if I didn't see that right away. Sometimes you burn funded accounts and you gotta make new ones back. We got 2 minutes to 10 o'clock. Sorry if I'm eating in your ear. Back to that overnight high. Like I said, this is really the area of more of interest there. You want price to kind of get up into that yellow box and then fail it and then rotate back down. So you can limit your risk below that box, above that box, right? But you can see now that Delta is absolutely trying to push up to the high side. Not quite canceling out this previous move here. So if you do kind of creep into this, it's just going to be a creep. It's not like exploding into that spot. I would be cautious because the way it gets back to that, it could just continue to run over and kind of just go through highs and then just creep up and up and up. Russell is looking to just continue to push higher. S&P is now finally pushing higher. So you're starting to get a little bit more movement coming into 10 o'clock here. 5 seconds before 10 o'clock hits. See if you get any sort of push up or, you know, failure of this level again. You can rotate it back down to the bottom end. NVDA also just creeping up. There it is. I flushed that overnight high. Big wick there. Big wick here. Right into that bottom end of that yellow box. Frias, are you on this right now or not? Are you out and about? I know you're there. I just don't know if you're there or not. Let's see. If we get a nice pop up into this box and you get the delta not to push up, right? Same sort of divergence idea here. based on the rotational day, based on the lack of follow through the high side. Now that we're in that 10 o'clock hour, my final hour of trading for the day, I want to see if something will set up here, or maybe we whip up into this high. Maybe we whip up into this upper band of VWAP. Maybe we get into this box, and we hold, and then we fail. Or right now we could just fail this upper end of value and try to rotate right back down to the other end of value. For the high and low of value to be only 85 ticks, that's pretty wild, to be honest, especially in the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ having that tight of a volume profile value area is pretty tight. So I want to see if this will go up a little bit higher, give me that divergence a bit, maybe try and get over this wick, stop some people out, get into that yellow box, and then rotate back down. Just adjusted the value area to being a bit bigger. Not much, 84 ticks, 85 ticks. Lower high on the value. I want to get up over that overnight high, but I want to see if I could catch a little piece of this bad boy, 1824 quarters. Get up over that high. There's a whippy action. No new high in Delta. Russell creeping down. So let's see if we can get up into that yellow box and we could fade it. Let's see. I'm going to fade it through 24. There we go. We're going to sell 2 here just to see if we can rotate right back down to the bottom end of this range. If it doesn't go, it doesn't go. Oh, my Delta is now trying to follow through. Pushing up into that box. Still not really following through too much. Right, that whip Delta there, the high end of that is 67. Still well below this Delta here. But if it starts to catch a pop here, you're going to start to see Delta really rip upside. So there's just want to push up into that upper band of view up. Short through the low of this at 26. So I'll move my entry to here. And there's that blow off high. So is that a wick? No, you see how Delta really ripped up there. Delta ramped up. Price ran right into that upper band of VWAP. Didn't quite make it to this high, right? So you do have a lower high in Delta, new high in price. Does it just give up immediately, or will it go? Because really you want to see this kind of follow through, right? If it gives up below this overnight high, then another not a great push through the opening through the all-time high. You know, these are all new all-time highs. So if you're not getting just great volume pushing through these all-time highs, you know, it's increasing a little bit, but still diminished from even the last time I did any sort of breakdown. For it to be the same volume as this, it's creeping up a little bit. So you're starting to get a little bit of a creep up in volume. You're not getting a blow off top here. You're not getting that yet. I mean, now we're holding it. See if it'll give up this overnight high. Oh, there it goes. That's a bigger push. That's a better move there. This is where the all-time highs start to make new those blue skies breakouts. Russell not making new highs though, so that's been our leader today. It's been leading us in the directions that we've been seeing, but now the NQ is diverging. NVDA creeping back up. And now we're a bit away to be able to limit our risk, right? So not something I'm looking to enter, not something I'm looking to fight. If it wants to break out and go to new all-time high, like, you know, really great breakout, then so be it. It's not something that I play, especially being up on the day. I'm not going to look to just hammer into something here just to do it. That's just not my game. I'm going to watch this upper band of view up kind of creep up with it. If we can get the upper band of view up to creep up, you get some sort of rising wedge pattern here, then you can fade it back down into the this yellow zone to look for that bounce. But I am big into just fading that mean reversion style. Breakdown at 835. Lost about half the viewers based on the slow market day today, but it's all good. tomorrow, anticipate some more volatility, right? We do have jobless claims, although it's not a red folder, I think it will move the market. And then you do have some of these PMI flashes and stuff right at 8:45 and 9 new home sales. So if anything about today's price action bored you, tomorrow would probably give you a little bit more fun. Delta now creeping down. You get right into that top of the end of that box, possibly look to rotate back out. If we gotta get through the overnight high, we're gonna get triggered in. But I don't think we do, really. 8:24. Haven't been running the sirens lately, but they'll be back. Like I mentioned, the Russell was leading us down. Hasn't flushed though. If we can get a lower high, if this like pops here, it gives you a lower high, say somewhere above this 32. It gets down into 27, 26, gets up back into that 32, then fails that 26. That's a nice little setup.
I mean, it is what it is. It's a new product for you guys, so there's a learning curve with anything new that you trade. So it's fine. We'll get it. We'll get it next time.
I want to see if this will give me that another push up over this 32 quarter, 3/4. Give you that lower high though, and then start to creep back down. Give you that wedge type pattern that I like to see as it approaches that. That's the only way I think the all-time high breakdown. You know, if you kind of creep up into here and you do that for a little while, then potentially that break will give us the idea of a short. So we're going to the bodies here. That looks better. All right, so that's kind of what I'm looking to see if I can get this to ride up onto this trend line a little bit more. If it's going to just go and melt off, then I'm going to get triggered in through that previous, the overnight low, overnight high, not overnight low, overnight high here. I do think that we kind of run into this resistance in that yellow box that I was mentioning. This yellow box here, it is a key zone, right? That's really where I'll start to see price dip dance around a bit, come in, come out. And then if it cracks down below through it, then that's when we want to get triggered in to the short to fade it back to the VWAP area. But like I said, this is all-time high breakout territory. We don't have any levels to play with overhead, so it's really just wherever it wants to go, it's going to go. But we want to see this start to be a rising wedge. Upper band of VWAP. That's probably another thing that can help you in these all-time highs. As I mentioned, I kind of want to see some sort of like rising wedge type pattern here on top of this support, right? This definitely is acting as support. Right, I drew this up here, came right back down to it, touched it there, bounce point. I want to see this tighten up, get into like a slightly higher high, slightly higher low, slightly higher high, wedge out a little bit up on top of this, and then look to see maybe that 40 level will break down and short through that high, right? That's that area that would be interesting. To me, really, though, the confirmation is down through overnight lows, overnight highs. This is the kind of setups I like to look for. I like to see it in Delta, too. If Delta busts through the high and price just lingers around here, that's one type of divergence. If price breaks through the high and Delta lingers down here, that's the other type that I like to see. I like that better. I like if Delta is leading me. I'd rather Delta not lead to the direction, in the direction that I'm looking at. But you probably can't see because it's off screen out that I can't access for the stream at the moment. The Russell is pulling back pretty nicely. So this could be the top end of the NQ for now. So the top of the NQ for now would probably be here. I'm not saying permanently. I'm just saying for right this second, just based on the way the Russell has been pulling back heavy. We started our pullback in the Russell before 855. What's 855 over here? 855. Well, I have it on 5, so it's probably a little bit sooner than that. 845. It still popped. Yeah. If this is going to wedge, it'll be really nice for our idea. I want price to wind up, and then break. Fueling my trading, my P&L one trade at a time with Day Trading Coffee Co. Fuel for traders, by traders. Like I said, any sort of, when we start to build our revenues, our growth, we're going to start to pump money into a funding fund, give back to the trading community that is fueling their trading with our coffee. So that's what I'm looking to do with our coffee company. That's why we have this partnership with Lightspeed, starting to develop a good relationship with them. If you see the link, click the link, head over to Lightspeed. Just click it. You don't have to open the broker. Just check it out. I just want to prove to them that I am sending people that way. They're getting click through. There's a reason for me to stay partnered with them. So long term, when the coffee company does get to the point where I can start giving back to the community, that's the broker that I want to start working with, giving away cash accounts, getting people into that. That broke. NVDA pushing downside. What do you got? What class? Library? Okay, cool. Yeah. Which library are you going to? You're gonna need to get gas. Get gas. Get gas.
Bye.
What? You might be able to get there first, but on the way home you gotta get gas. Okay. The only thing about this wedge is that it's not the type of wedge I really like. This is more of like a bull flag to me, right? These lower highs and then kind of like an equal low. The breakout seems more likely in that that scenario. I do like it. No, I'm good. Thank you. Bye, Max. Have fun at the library. Yeah, like I said, this is more bull flag looking than it is a rising wedge. The wedge that I like to see if I can find it. While we're not trying to trade this currently, this is a little bit better where we're getting higher highs, right? You pushed up into a key level, you're getting higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, and you're getting higher lows. But this would I would really like it to be even more of a tightening wedge at the key level. It'd be something like this. I want it to look like that, where it's rising but tight and then it falls off. That's really what I look for. I don't know how to get back there. Where we go. Bang.
Tom Huber's book, Biggest Loser Wins, he actually says this one thing. He said, when somebody says to me, "Oh, why do you buy that? It's so high up." It's like, well, what time frame are you looking at, and why wouldn't it go even higher? It's like that's the same argument, right? And stocks generally have a natural, especially stocks like NVIDIA, they have that natural upside move to them anyway. So any dip, you're gonna get a lot of.
I don't trade breakouts personally, but it looks bull flaggy. And like all-time high stuff, I just can't be messing around with. On a day where I made $1,500 on the first trade, and then took 2 break evens on trades that probably could have been another 1,500. I'm not looking to just start hammering into things late in the trading session for me. And then this combine's up 330, 323. So just like building back into the good habits. Just because I'm in a combine doesn't mean I'm going to start creating bad habits. I'm just looking to get back as many funded possible. You lose one. I didn't lose it. I still have it. But you have an XFA that you can't really use much of or pull much more out of. Do yourself a favor and get 2 more. Always have one waiting in the wind. What I should have been doing is, had a combine running in the background, getting copy traded while I was making $4,000. $200 to $500 a day, $1,000 a days. Those would have built up the combines, and then I would have had no problem, right? But I was focused so much on just one account, doing the right thing, and I feel like the real way to go with these prop firms is really to leverage as much as you can. Seems like a lot of these other influencer type or educators, if you look at some of the top step guys like Rips and Austin Silver, and even if you're like a Trades by Matt guy or anything like that, these guys are leveraging multiple accounts, copy trading, and then just pulling as much as they can out and then if they burn an account, it's cool because they got 4 or 5 more waiting, 10 more waiting for them. So it's not a it's not a bad way to go.
High water mark 660. Sitting on my hands, looking for a house account. I'm waiting as the guy who lives and learns being scolded.
Let me take this over here for a second. I want to look at billing stuff. Excuse me. Sorry about the coughing in your ears. I have 2 accounts that will be reset tomorrow at a monthly billing. I was in early on Top Step X, so I have 2 accounts that are still $4.50 a piece per month. So I can't not try. I've already passed. I had 5 of them. I passed 3 of them. I've burnt 2 of them, and the 3rd one's pretty much done. So looking to pass these 2 other ones, hopefully by the end of the month. Have the one that I'm working on now also passed, and then as many as I can pass and have them in the background waiting to get funded. It really just kind of takes the burden off of any sort of buffer, and you could just trade. I mean, not that you don't want to build a buffer. Still want to build the buffer, still want to do everything. Yeah, I'm just sitting on my hands here, waiting for nothing to happen. Realistically, like I said, I trade 8:30 to 11 every single day on the live stream. I run Day Trading Coffee Co. I have a day job. Guess the day job based on the name of the account. If you don't know already, now you know. We are here every day just to try and provide some sort of value to everybody. Maybe even just be a trading buddy. Like I said, I'm not trying to be any sort of guru. I'm not trying to sell courses. I'm sure I could pull it off if I really wanted to, but I don't want to make money that way. I want to make money trading. And then also, I would like to fuel the trading community with our good coffee and make money that way as well. But that's not trying to scam you. That's not trying to get you to take a course that I can just do here while we're live all the time and charge you for it, right? It's just providing you some sort of value that you're already drinking coffee, so you might as well have something that's made specifically for you as a trader, right? That's what I'm looking to do here in that way. So you're never going to get sold anything but coffee here. And if I do start to, put out any coursework or education work, it's all going to be on the arm. I'll probably just throw it on YouTube or into the lobbies here, into the video lobbies in Tradecaster, just so you can go access them. Personally, I just want to get myself back into a better state where I can get my trading. Like today, we did really good. Yesterday, we did. All right, so yesterday we started the day off like a real moron. We had a really great trade idea, executed it, and then just mismanaged it a couple times on one of the accounts. Reset ourselves, and then got this account up over 4,000 yesterday. So today we're up 1,500. I'm not going to anticipate hitting off on $4,000 to $6,000 to $5,000 days every day. I'll take my $1,500 and run on a day like today and just pass this, in a few days instead of in 1 or 2 days, right? So it's a long game trading, and yes, maybe I'm not going to be making money off of the combine, but at the same time, to actually have one of these 250K accounts, to have that buffer to be correct, to allow myself a little bit of room for some more size. I think my trading style lends itself to being good at putting on the right size and then being able to shed off contracts at my areas. And that's when I can really start to become even, see that exponential growth in the P&Ls. But overall, like I said, this account on here, streaming wise, I'm kind of just going through it just to, so people who haven't been here before or whatever, you see my son comes in, my wife comes in, we talk about things. He brings me my coffees. We just chat. We have a good time. This is the real life room, I would call it. I want to show people that it's possible to do this with a family, do this with a job, do this with a business. You can do multiple things and still be successful in this. And just the first thing is proving discipline to yourself and being able to have that discipline on the charts, but also at other parts of your life, right? Be able to go and do things with your family, do things with your kids, take care of them when they need to. If Max needs to be in the room while my other son's at school, like my routine, the reason I get on just before 8:30, it's not because I want to get on here late and sleep late. I have to go bring my son, my oldest, to school. So I bring him to school, get him there by 8-ish, get back to the charts, make sure my levels are good, and then I start the stream off just like that. That's kind of the nice thing about trading futures as opposed to trading, stocks and stuff. Although with stocks, I could have just run a screener and had whatever, my criteria were already set prior to me leaving for school. So coming on at 8:30 isn't a big deal. I am doing my preparations and stuff. So you do have that the night before, the day of, you're good. So this is like I said, I'm not going to sell you anything in here but coffee. I'm just going to come in here, be a trading partner. Hopefully keep you out of bad trades, give you good trading levels to be looking at, recognizing that it's going to be this type of choppy day, and just to not overtrade it, obviously. And then when I talk about my divergences here, we did a really good job of recognizing that this is probably going to be the bottom and hold. And then now this is probably the top for now. Like I said, over here for now, that's probably the top. And it was the top. Does it break out again? Possibly. Just based on the way Russell was leading us downside. I anticipated this to maybe pull back a little bit more. I think that do I still have that order out there? I don't want that order out there. Screw it. I'll leave it there. Oh, No. So Russell leading us downside. NVIDIA not following through anywhere to the high side. We have Delta flat. Not a lot of things going on here that's going to give you an indication of directionality. I want everybody to just be able to recognize what market condition we're in at least, and then you can make your decisions from there, right? Understand that we're in a sideways inside day, seemingly lower volume type day with a super tight value area. We're holding above the value area, which means that most orders were executed right in this box, right? The majority of the orders of the day have been executed inside this box, even though we've been up here for this, since 10, what time? Since 10, really, we'll call it 10 o'clock. We've been up here since like around 10, and we've executed all these orders here, but look at how low the volume is in these orders here, right? The bell curve is pretty much like a bell curve today, right? Straight up to the middle, straight down to this way. Most of the times, on a day like yesterday, if you looked at, if we were here later, yesterday you would see a little bit lower volume down low, right? And then that would be an expanded volume up in that range. Right now, the middle of the day is the middle of the range, which is the middle. It's just like a naturally distributed volume profile, which kind of indicates an inside pause of a day. Russell creeping down again. S&P's creeping down again. Does that give us the opportunity to take a short through this yellow zone? Delta's still very flat. I'm really just trying to talk myself through this, not talk you into anything or out of anything, not talk myself into or out of anything, but I just want to get an idea of what's going on. This is holding. Like I said, it looks more bear flaggish than it does. I mean, it looks like more of a bull flag than it does like a wedge that I would look to short. But if it does crack here, I would anticipate that acceptance back into the large body of volume to get back into where it was executing all these orders before. But right now it's comfortable executing orders in this range. So, I mean, we're at all-time highs. It is what it is. We're going to just continue to see all-time high behavior.
How much should be taken out this year?
It's in the six figures.
Okay, that is awesome. What should you do with it?
Pay my bills and be
I guess. Lambo? No Lamborghini, huh?
no Lambo, not my style.
Big Delta pop out. Price did not pop with it.
And do this full time. So for me, that's
Oh,
I'm coming from a big tech salary, so I'm trying to just replace that at this point.
Michael, he's conflicted. I don't know if you know how much you know about Nick for a tick story. He's conflicted. He used to work, big corporate America. No longer with them. Now got into trading. He's good at trading, and doesn't want to take the plunge for understandable reasons, family benefits, understandable. But he's very good at trading, and is conflicted as to you're not full time, Nick. You don't think you're full time in this at this point?
I mean, I'm full time right now. I had a discussion with some people about it. So yes, I am full time right now. It's not necessarily my choice. It's just kind of the way things have evolved in the last couple weeks. But this is I'm looking for ways that I'm going to continue to grow this without doing I think the things that good traders do.
Should I short this? I like it short.
Trade, and then you're actually not a trader. You're just doing other things.
I just don't like how we're in this area where this is just going to soak up along and then rip us off. So I'm not going to take a short here. I just want to watch and see what happens with it. I have 30 minutes left in the stream. Probably just going to be done executing for this stream session, pretty much probably for the day. I want to see what happens with the NVIDIA earnings. I'm going to come back to the charts possibly to see it. If not, I'll be on my phone checking out the trading view chart when I pick up my son from school later. Just going to see what goes on with that. I feel like that's what markets are waiting for, is that NVIDIA earnings You know, maybe we're building up into here, up maybe even one more leg up or a couple until waiting for that dump down, because we do have this longer period here. We're looking at this sort of wedge longer term here from this all-time high. You got to figure out some way to make this put into context, right? When you're in these all-time highs. So I feel like that's a justified bottom end of this. And then top end, really pretty clear. Bounce, rejection, rejection, rejection. We just broke through it. If it's going to be a failed break, the flush below 24 could indicate an acceptance back down to the bottom, which is 18,794, right? So I wouldn't be opposed to shorting through this 24, but if it breaks this and just continues to push, there's really not anything holding it back, right? Like there's no resistance here. You know, do you cheat it and you front run 24 and short at like 30, which is really the bottom end of this? If you short this and rotate it through, then but you have that whole liquidity area above it. Yeah, I mean it is a good little bit of a. There's a way to like just hit the delete button without hitting delete on my computer. Can I right click it? No. You could front run it with one contract, risk one contract at a high of this, just based on how tight it is. I'll sell two here just to give this a chance to give me a reward. 830 to 40, 10 points. I am short. I am short in this account. Just let's see where it gets us. I'm willing to risk that high of the day there on this just to try and front run the break of 24 and see if it can hold a little bit of a longer term sort of move here into 11 o'clock. I don't know how long I'll be able to hold it. I'm not great at long holds, but let's see what we can do. If it kind of gets up over this 36, I'll probably look to just close it out manually. But if we do get down below 24, that's what I said. I would accept below 24 and rotate down to 794. And that seems like a valid thing based on our failed breakout over that wedge. And if I can get through 27, it would confirm it for me a little bit better. And then into 24. Let's see what Delta looks like here. Looking like it wants to get a little heavier. Starting to push down. Russell pushing down. So that gives us a little bit of confidence. I want to get through this yellow box. That's really my goal here. Get down through this yellow box here. The failed break above here. Riding along the upper band of VWAP. Lack of follow through. A lot of reasons behind why I just say, hey, it's a cheap short. Let's take a chance at it. See if we could front run the break of 24. If this doesn't go here, then potentially looks to rotate and push and really explode out the other way. So I am going to be watching it a little bit cautiously. I might hammer out if it rotates out. Like I said, above 36, I'll probably get out just because I feel like that's going to lead us to a bigger move. But you can see Delta being heavier. Russell trying to bid up a little bit, but it's running right into the opening range high. So I want to wait and see if the opening range high will hold on the Russell or if it's going to break out. If it does break out, I'm going to go run over to the other place execution screen. And there's a heavy Delta, heavier Delta leading us downside. Delta pushing down, rising. Higher lows on Delta. If we can make a new low in Delta, price should get going. 27 should crack. 27 will go. Give it to me. Hopefully somebody is listening a little bit here on this. You know, the entry could have been up here on the breakdown, but I do like it to get through the bottom end of this. And if we can get to 24. That's a nice bounce in delta. Bounce up into the higher end of that wedge. If it breaks out of this wedge, then you probably get flat. Like I said, up over this wick here, you're out. But if it's going to hold this wedge, then you're still okay. I was just taking a cheap shot at a short here. So if it does go, that's great. If not, I'm not too upset about it. Just trying to give a chance here to lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and then equal lows, trying to break through a key support level, although that seems like it's going to give up. So I'm going to give up on this probably right through here. There's a heavier push to the downside. That's nice. Give it to me. If it breaks above this, then we're going to get out. So just limiting our risk on this, because I feel like if that's a hard flush down, if it's going to go, it should go here. Price sped up on the dome. $27 needs to break. Delta's relatively strong compared to price. Russell creeping back up. Ay, ay, ay. No follow through on this. If this doesn't go here, I'm going to just take my $100 loss and be out. I'm over this 32. Because this looks like a grab of liquidity to just do the same chop that it's been doing. So like I said, I just want to be really tight on this risk based on the way the price action's been. I wanted to give it a chance if it was going to go on that attempt, a failed breakout of this wedge. Longer term, it could go further. I think there's a chance. But at the same time, I'm not looking to hold it like crazy. I like it to go quick, right? I'm very quick with my shorts. I'm willing to get back $100 of my profit on the day, but really I would like to give none back. So if I can get through that and down into this bottom end of this wick again, I'll go to even and then see where it goes. It just ticked on that bottom end of the top end of that wedge. So could be holding that wedge and then looking to scream high side. Could be looking for a squeeze.
Stop filled.
The guy is so loud. I don't know how to even lower him. So yeah, I didn't want to be involved in that. Obviously, it's probably going to go now because I decided to stop myself out right at a spot where it's going to tick out. But I don't really care. We're still up $1,400 on the day on this account. I might try and do some more with it later if I see some sort of movement. But I really want to see this accept down below 24 before I think that we can rotate even further. Like I said, in this chart here, if you're looking at this chart, you want to see if you can get an accept below this yellow dotted line. That's that previous high. Will get you back in this wedge. It'll say that there's a failure of this breakout. You're going to rotate back down, accept back in, try and get down to 794, probably run into the bottom of this wedge around, 1530, 1500. And then when you get NVDA earnings, bam. Let's see. Chop City, baby. Chop City. Don't chop yourself up if you don't have to. Yes, there could be a move incoming, and I wanted to see if it would go right then and there. I don't think it's not ready, obviously. And I gave it a chance just based on some things that I saw with Russell and with the NVIDIA creeping down. and holding above this wedge. I wanted to see if the break back down below the wedge would give us a short, which it still didn't do, right? We had this little bit of a wedge here, but it's technically not correct. I mean, it did get up into there, retest it, and now still holding below it, so it's not quite wrong, but it's not something that I really care to use.
volatility earnings type traders I've ever seen who can scalp a single NQ contract and make $2 grand out of it when Microsoft reports that it's fascinating to watch. I would never recommend this to anyone, but it's just some people are very good at event volatility. I am not one of those traders.
If it gets through 24, I will, because that is that overnight high. I would like to see it go.
I just don't like it, so I don't even look at it, so I just look away. Back in the day, I used to trade that FBA.
There's the break. Is it manipulation or is it going to go? I'm shorting through 24 if it gets there. Got 15 minutes left in the stream. Gonna risk about 400 to 500 on this. Would not like to take 794. You know what? It'll be right there. Probably gonna run into some resistance though down on this area here if we do see it get there. So I'm only taking 2 contracts. So I'm gonna take one off if it flushes to this point here. And then I want it down to 794. So I want to take the first off at 1-to-1 and I want to let the rest of it ride. This is interesting for a long though. If this is just going to sweep the low, come into this top end here, and then pop and break above, I would be not interested in taking long, but I feel like that's a good reason for it to go long because it is just kind of holding that wedge. And that's why I said 24. That's the top end of value area, 825. Per contract risking over that. Yeah, so about 500.
Would actually argue that watching paint dries.
Painting go, by the way. You said you had to do some painting last time you checked in.
Oh, great. Yeah. I actually shared that photo with Jerry.
NVIDIA looking to go down a bit, kind of curling from the high end. If it can crack lows, then of the pre-market session, then maybe we get a little bit of follow through here. The pre-market low though is a little bit of ways away, 947. NVIDIA can move $2 pretty quickly. $1, maybe even $1 to the downside, possibly induces some selling. Heavy delta. Heavy delta. Price is trying to get heavy. Russell's heavy. Accepting back in. And we're going to take this short. If it gets us in. If it cracks this wick, then you think that that's confirmation to the downside. I'm going lighter on my contract size because for this account, just because I'm up on it, and also because we don't have great follow through currently, and I think that the lack of follow through leads us to possibly just kind of not be able to maximize our ability to get contracts off, and our trailing technique's not going to work out as great. So I just wanted to put some smaller size on and give the trade a chance if it wants to go, right? I said if we can accept back below 824, we could rotate back down to 792, 794, even this 798 area before NVIDIA earnings, right? That's really kind of what I'm looking to see. Maybe even before FOMC meeting minutes, which is more of like a manipulative time frame as well. I stopped myself out kind of intentionally on this one. and then I was I stopped myself out basically top ticked after my entry, and it's been selling off since. So my front run idea was correct, right? So I would have at least have been able to get myself to covered to break even and see what this flush gives me. If the flush gives me what I want, then it should just rotate down quick, tag off on this one, and then see if we can get down to 92. But,
Stop field.
so let's see. There's the speeding up of price. See if it's going to actually give us a follow through, or if it's going to be a liquidity grab to pop us off to highs. I think that the 24 level is a pretty key level to give a flush. So we should get off that first contract pretty quick. And there it is. It's
All
off.
field.
And now we're just melting. So there's your entry right there, baby. Hell to the yeah, baby. Hell yeah. It's only one contract, but it is the right trade. So we are out here. I said 94 was going to get tagged. We went right to 98. I think with that heaviness, I want to be cautious. I want to give it a chance to rotate even further to the downside. I want 94 to pop. If I get tagged out for this trade here, I'll be a little disappointed because that was a really nice flush, and it should give you some follow through down to that other end. Still safe. One contract on here. Really beautiful move on that. I don't know if anybody else caught it, if anybody was paying attention to my reasoning behind why I think that timing was correct for it. We stopped ourselves out on that first entry attempt, which was fine by me. I'm going to go candle by candle here now. See what happens at this consolidated low. If we can crack through this consolidated low down through 98, then my stop's going right to 98 as quickly as possible, because at 94 was my target initially, right? We wanted to get back into the bottom end of the range. Beautiful move, man. Really, really nice. I want to give it a chance to get it to go, though. I mean, I'm a fast trail kind of person, so I am going to probably get tagged out here. Hopefully it can get through these lows before it does tag me out. But like I said, that was really the move that I was anticipating. Should have been able to get that first contract off quickly and then be able to trail this second one as I saw fit. And there it is. So we're out. Well, it didn't fill apparently. Okay,
Stop
there we
fill.
go. So we're out even. We made 18.20 on the day here. So we were up just over 14. So we caught a quick little $300 there. Beautiful move right there. I hope somebody caught that. It was really, really nice to see. Talking through it. I'm going to record that move, and then going to talk about it on YouTube. I kind of liked to have both on down to there. But so my initial idea before I took that short was I was probably going to take off at 801, 802. Actually, 805. 805 is the bottom end of this consolidation. I was going to throw it there. But based on my risk to reward, I wanted to take one off at 1-to-1 and then let the other one ride. The speed of that move down, I should have just been really tight to 800, just thinking it through. But I think overall, I think we do still have room down to accept down to 794. So 794 isn't out of the realm of possibilities on that heavy of a flush, right? So I'm going to definitely chop up that YouTube clip, and hopefully I was able to, I don't know if I can back record. I can't back record. Oh, and I didn't even record that screen, so doesn't even matter. Didn't even catch that short on there. But we did it. We shorted it. You saw it get filled. Beautiful flush of that 30-minute level. I'm very happy with that move. Cool. In a slow day for me to have caught that, I'm glad to have caught that little piece. $1,800 on the move, secured $1,773 with the amount of trades we've taken with commissions and fees. So that one netted us. It doesn't have how much. Oh, right there it says 165 and 200. So we got 365 on that. Really quick move. Probably could have doubled it, right? But we didn't. So it's all good. All good in the hood. You're never going to catch. I mean, good on you if you caught that full move to the tick. But to me, and also based on the lack of follow through we've been getting. That's the reason why I just ran that second trail up in there tighter. Could have just been, it was 1-to-1. I was really risking basically that move there. I want to make sure that this is flat. So 1,700 on the day. Got this account balance up to 256, 254. I needed to get up to, well, what I started at 250. I need to get it to 265. So just shy of 10 grand out. So beautiful, beautiful short there. Very happy with it. I was actually happy with it here. Could have risked it to the high. Could have kept it on. I didn't want to take a full risk on this, to be honest with you. Once I noticed it starting to creep up here, that's why I got myself out. Could have left it over that 36 quarters. Had 2 on. Would have took that first one off at the same place. That adds another, how many points? 24. Where'd I get in? I got in at 8:30. So 8:30 to the first exit at 8:15. That's 15 points. It's $20 a point. You do the math. And added, but that's two contracts, so I wasn't going to add more. Could have done 5, and then, we would have doubled that profit. Slow and steady wins the race.
Cheap bits of folks, full transparency here on Top Step TV. Real traders, real accents, they might be weird. Real fake here. 6-figure payouts. Real stuff.
4 minutes left in the stream. I hope everybody was able to capitalize on some of the moves we called out today. I'm just gonna break down the day for us in the last 4 minutes. Not gonna take any more trades here. I'm gonna accept the fact that the rest of the trading session to me is probably gonna not provide a ton of opportunities. Probably gonna get back into that choppy mess. The one move that we didn't really see coming, but it also kind of just ground its way up, was this one. Didn't think that there was going to be any valid break of it, so we took the short. I ended up taking myself out of this first entry. I was trying to front run my real entry, which was right here, and then you saw that there. But so we'll go through the beginning of the day, and then we'll run through and be done. We were looking at the failure of the break of the all-time high, which was the overnight high, which is that yellow line here. We got a delta divergence. We got a beautiful setup, opening range breakdown. We took the short through that opening range candle, and I took 5 contracts on this. We were on a 250K combine trying to really maximize our funding before June. So that's what I'm trying to do here, is to see how much funding I can get before June to just prove concept to everybody. And then just from June on, we're going to start to really hammer it out and make some good money and good payouts. But right now I took 5 on this. I took off half at 18,801. I took off 1 more contract down here at the low, and then I got stopped out for the rest there. So that netted us just over just shy of 1,500, I believe I was at. Just shy of 1,500 on that. Because that was 505. This was 505. And that's 550. Because I got 2 off there. I got 1 off here. That's 3, 4. There was another one. Overall, it's 5, 10. Yeah, just shy of 1,500. We ended up taking a break even here. Lack of follow through. We had that really nice flush. We got in on the flush. It flushed all the way down. I went to break even. I anticipated some breakdown of this 800 level, because at this point we didn't really know that we were going to get this consolidated type day, right? So I took this short, actually took the short up here. First attempt at it, another failure, big wick. Took the short through here, got stopped out on the manipulation. Could have left the stop up higher, but we started to really get a push down. So I went to even, got stopped on the manipulation. Tried the short through at the consolidated low, got the really good flush, didn't quite take any off of that. It was 2 contracts. I wanted to take 1 off, didn't quite get filled because I wanted down here at 8 like we had before. And then we got stopped at break even. Same deal here. Got stopped out on a wick test here. I just didn't trust the follow through on it, and we got a nice little push there. So overall, we had a really good trade where we managed it well. We managed these ones well as also, but you just didn't get the follow through that you wanted. and the time that you wanted it. And then this one, I got a little tighter on just because it was not worth taking that chance. Started to see consolidation. We sat out of the markets talking about how consolidation is, kind of not really tradable, low volume, diminishing volume. Delta was doing weird things, like not very, very healthy price action to trade. So we just talked about things, hung out for that hour or whatnot. Once we got around that 10 o'clock hour, we started to see the breakout of this consolidated range. We finally broke all-time highs. We didn't really get a capitulatory high. So it kind of just ran up over those highs, hung out. And when we hung out there, we kind of just stayed in this level, right? Stayed here. Volume stayed pretty low. I saw this setup going right here. If you look on the 30-minute chart, we were looking here, seeing that we had this big wedge pattern over the last few days, right? We ran up, hit off on here. Well, we were here. This time I've said it's going to probably be a failed breakout of this. It just doesn't have great volume. We're going to look to see if we can catch the short through 824 and rotate back down to 794 or at least into the bottom end of this bottom end of the range of the wedge, right? That's kind of what I anticipated for the NVDA earnings being somewhere down here. So we front ran it a little bit, cheating on it a bit. I saw this wedge coming in. The wedge started to form. I took the short here, started to see price speed up, build up. We stayed in. I left it into the high of the day. I saw it get up over 36. Once we failed 36, I said, all right, I feel like if it goes here, it should break. We got a really whippy break of the low and then started to push up. So I hammered myself out here. I tightened up my stop just over this. And what do you know? It's to the top tick of this little bit of a move here. No harm, no foul. Lost $100 on that. Not really too concerned. I didn't really want to front run it anymore. I wanted to really wait for my confirmation. So I set my sell order below that 24 level that I was talking about before. As soon as we hit that 24 level, you can see clear as day, sweep, flush, beautiful move, straight down, hit our first profit target in like a second or two. We took one contract off here. I wanted to start to trail that second contract a bit lower. However, I wanted to give it a chance. I wanted to let it give itself an opportunity to flush even deeper. It didn't. So once it started to creep up more, I decided to run my stop pretty much basically where we were for our first take profit. And we got tagged out for that second contract there overall for just shy of $400 on that, leading our total daily P&L for this account to 1820 even. Minus fees, we're at $1773.50. Overall, on this 250K account, we're $6,254 over the past 2 days. And we're looking to hit off on that $15,000 for the profit target to get funded. I'm doing it in a more conservative, properly structured way, in a way that I can continue to just trade the same way over a period of time. You might see me leverage into a couple trades where I'm a little bit more confident. I'll throw the 5 lot on. These ones were 2 lots. I was confident in this. Once I had my size on, I was already at a profit point where I was like, okay, for the next day, trade for tomorrow, right? So just building that up. We still have our full buffer, minus $300 because of this wick down here, pushed us $300 and then bounced. So you can kind of tell based on this trailing drawdown how much you gave back in profits. With the 250K account, it does allow me a little bit more room for that buffer. I got myself into a lot of trouble on Apex with the 50K accounts. I'm really fine with the 50K account as far as risk management is concerned if it allow me to play it the way Top Step does, right? I can let trades breathe a little bit. I can give back some. But in Apex, when you start giving these high watermarks back, that's when you start to eat into your buffer. So you don't want to have a realized profit or an unrealized profit of $1,000 and then give it all back, because then that buffer goes down to 5, right? So that's kind of what I did in some of these Apex accounts. Even my PAs, I was just, not that I guess I wasn't greedy. I just wasn't able to properly manage my positions. So that's why I'm trying this 250K account out, seeing how it works. If it's good, then I'll just continue to work on these 250K accounts and see how many of them I could get over the course of the year. I'm not rushing through these. I'm going to see what I can do best with this. Hopefully we can pass this 250 by the end of the month based on the, last couple of days. We're up about 6,200. So let's see, sometime next week possibly could pass it if we just consistent, take our shots and limit our risk, our drawdown. I'm not going to go max drawdown on a day. I'm going to set personal loss limits to make it conducive to actually making profit. So overall on this account, like I said, we're up 1,700 and change. On the Top Step 50K account, we're up 323.80 on that one trade that we took on the day. We took this one here, maximized that position with 2 contracts, took one off at VWAP, took the other one off down on the lows. And then I talked about the delta divergence here with Leezy. He was asking about the divergence, and I said, wow, well, this is where the divergence is coming in, and we're going to try and take this. And I did not maximize the profits on this one, but it was pretty good as far. I ended up getting stopped at break even just because I didn't give it that last little wick, got stopped out and rotated back down. But overall, I think he caught that move, so it's really, really good on him to be able to capture that piece there, but just recognizing the delta and whatnot. So overall, I think we did a great job today. We're going to come back on tomorrow. I'll be on for NVIDIA earnings. I don't think I'll be streaming, but I'll be in the room. I'll have the chat up. So if you feel like chatting, just let me know. If I'm over here, I might not be on the screen. So just hit the chat. If you get a response, I'm here. If not, I'm not. Follow me on Instagram at Policing Pips. You can always DM me if you want to do anything over there. Everything that I do is the same name, Policing Pips, so it's easy to find. Go over to daytradingcoffeecode.com. Use code Policing Pips. Get yourself 15% off. Get yourself some trading fuel. Helps elevate your P&Ls by increasing focus. Tons of articles that I've been writing on the benefits of caffeination, the benefits of coffee, different types of trading stuff. So overall, you check out our education page on the Day Trading Coffee Co. website. I put everything together there myself. So you'll get a lot of quality work from that. Until tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central. Be mindful of the FOMC meeting minutes at 1 o'clock today. Be mindful of that NVIDIA earnings. I know we can't really trade these prop firms after market close. So, I mean, you can do Apex. I believe you can do it a little longer. Top Step has you flat by 310. So just, observe it, see what price does, notate price location. And then from there, you can get a good idea of what tomorrow might bring, especially with the numbers coming out tomorrow of jobless claims and PMI flashes. So overall, like I said, go to lunch, enjoy your day, do what you got to do for the rest of the day. I got to make some phone calls for the business, and then I will see you guys all tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. Let's get it. Let's crush it. Let's make these funded accounts great again and see where we can go from there. Until tomorrow, peace out.